dance floor and go and go and go crazy and go crazy and go crazy and go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the old to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. Eastside homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red wrong. This is OOO City. All the way to the bay. Hit the bass, feel me. Catch a case cause it's beating up yo Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting all sweaty. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. This a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Get you all in the frenzy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. All the way from the O to LA.
What's up? What's up? What's up, Scoop Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Scoop. We're glad to have you here today. I want to start off tonight's show by telling you, of course, like you see on the screen, to make sure you drop your name. Let us know that you are here and where you are tuning in from. I want you to tag at least 5 people and tell them to join us tonight on the Scoop. So tonight, as you can see, I have a special guest with us tonight. Q, let me start off by saying that Q is she is under the weather. So we told you last week that her family, like everybody in her household, had gone through their corona thing, and now she's recovering from it. So we continue to keep her lifted in prayer for her return. And of course, y'all know, since we're talking about attachment style theory tonight, she's like, I want to be there. I'm like, sis, take the night off. It's all good. Me and the bishop, we can take it. We got it. So
Yes.
we definitely want to
We miss you.
you are definitely missed, and we will of course have this conversation again. So get well soon. So again, y'all, since Q's not here tonight, we definitely need you to put your comments, hit that share button, and represent well for her. So yeah, so we're gonna get into tonight's show. Before we get into talking about attachment style theory and how it affects how we show up in relationships, I want to introduce to some and present to others my brother, my big brother, my bishop, my friend. Y'all know I don't call too many people, let too many people call him my pastor, but this is one of my pastors.
Wow.
So I have the utmost and highest respect and honor for this man here. So I'm glad to have him here again.
I appreciate that, man.
Bishop Charles Barton. So tell the people first of all, how are you doing?
Oh, wow. Man, it has been a busy year. I got engaged in October.
Let's absolutely.
Yeah, a long time coming. Been divorced 5 years, and well, almost 6 years. Divorced almost 6 years, and got back on my feet and got my bearings and got healed. and the pain made me stronger. And then so met a woman, a tremendous woman, and actually I've known her for 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
16 years, and so never looked at her in the scope of a future wife.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the recent history, didn't see her. But then, God just kind of uncovered my eyes and helped me to see that I
What
was,
was in front of you?
yeah, I was missing out on something that was phenomenal. And
Yeah.
so things happened, and next thing you know, gave her a ring in October and asked her to marry me. She said, "Yeah," but in that I had to learn my attachment style, and I had to
Yeah.
learn her attachment style. And to be honest with you, Winfred, we would not have made it in the formative stages unless I had known and understood and studied her attachment style. Because I thought I knew. I've got several books that I've written on relationships, and but then understanding love languages and stuff like that, it just wasn't enough. There was still
Right.
more to be learned. So I don't think you could ever
Absolutely.
overeducate yourself on relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, I'm glad you said that because I think we talked about it. What kind of kicked tonight's show off was we had talked about what it would be like how we spent a lot of time talking about five love language
Hmm.
and five love languages and how that's a good thing, but that if you don't know something a little deeper like attachment style,
Yeah.
how even that's not something that is enough.
Right.
We talked about it. I talked about it in my book that a lot of times I said that we make the five love languages like it's the cheat code. I'm like, it's not the cheat code to relationships. It's
Right.
beneficial. We need it, but
Right.
there's
Mm.
another level that I think that attachment style theory does for us that if
Right.
we are willing to learn, it'll help us. And so I'll start by saying I didn't know anything about attachment style theory. It wasn't until so similar to you, divorced, and but it wasn't until me and Jamie started dating that she knew about it. And as she
Hmm.
was telling me, I was like, "All right, whatever," okay. And so I started listening to like we would talk about it, she would tell me stuff about it, and I'd be like, oh, okay. And so I need to learn this. And so as I did that, I wasn't very much so.
I got to
Um,
ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What was it, or what was the key of you being interested in it? Because I've yet to uh, talk about it in a way that made the person that I'm engaged to interested in it.
Yeah, I think it was for me, it was understanding. First of all, I wanted to understand her. So I wanted to understand her responses to certain things.
Hmm.
Um, and it was like so I'm one of those like I'm me, I'm a very logical
Hmm.
thinker, and math and finance is my thing. So to me, 1 plus 1 has to equal 2. So if I do this,
Hmm.
then you're supposed to do that, which is supposed to equal this. And I was doing this,
Yeah.
and her response was that, but it wasn't
Right.
equaling what I wanted. And so I kept
Right.
saying, what am I missing? And so
Hmm.
as we started talking about attachment styles and how it affected her, I was
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, so there's more to this. And this
Yeah.
is possibly the thing that I've been missing as I've been trying to, A, understand, B, how
Hmm.
to understand how we can function better together. And then it started like getting into me because now I'm like, okay, well, wait a second. Well, maybe this is affecting how I'm showing up to some stuff.
Most
So
definitely.
then I started having to get into that about myself, and it was like, now I'm hooked. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Most definitely. And in being a pastor, and a bishop, I oversee pastors. I oversee my congregants, and then being in my, the way I show up in my family and my relatives.
Mm-hmm.
Attachment styles has something to do with everything, and it's the kind of thing that you wished you had have learned earlier. No matter what the situation is in your life or any of your relationships, you wish you would learn this science and these theories earlier. And they make a whole lot of sense, and they're very easy to be, they're very easy to apply to everyday living in your relationships, but especially if you're in love or you want to be in love or you want someone to continue to stay in love with you. If you can master the attachment styles, you can always, I'm not going to use the word control because it's not fair, but you
Right.
can always have a say in how you are perceived when you know their attachment style and you know the impact that you have on their lives. I'm telling you, in my relationship, there was instant advantages.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
instantly understood this person and then made space for them
Yep.
and did not permit their idiosyncrasies and their ambiguities to detach me. Instead, it's okay, this person is like this because they're supposed to be this way because of their past, because of their childhood. And then it showed me how I can help them grow, even without even letting them know I'm helping them grow.
Them grow. Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
good.
man, it's a blessing. So,
That's
but
good.
yeah, I'm a pastor. I love people. I love relationships. I've got a book out that's been released twice on TBN books. It's called it's a relationship book, relationship technology, and I've got
Mhm.
several. I got one other book coming out. It's Relationship Technology Volume 2 coming out in a few months, and
Okay.
it's all finished, ready to go. But I love your radio program, Winfred. I love
Appreciate you.
your content. I love your wisdom. Every time you come to Oklahoma City, man, people are just excited. So we are grateful. Those of you that are viewers, you are blessed to have an amazing host, and I just applaud you, sir. I thank God for you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you more than you know. So no, yeah, absolutely. All right, so I've got a couple um of slides that I found actually on Instagram that
Mhm.
kind of talks to us about attachment style theories,
Mhm.
and so I want to talk about. I'm gonna put those up. We'll read those real quick, and then we'll get into the conversation. But before I do that, I want to say, so what, for those who don't know what attachment style is, one writer says that attachment style is a lasting, is defined as, excuse me, attachment style refers to the particular way in which an individual relates to other people. The style of attachment is formed at the very beginning of life, and once established, it is a style that stays with you and plays out today in how you relate in intimate relationships and how you parent children. So that is a definition of what attachment style is. So I'll put that in the chat for those who didn't get it. And so we asked people also last week to take the test if they did not.
Mhm.
So we put the link in. So if you have your score or how you came out, you'll get a chance to think through some of that or work through some of that tonight too. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this is going to be helpful for everybody. So we'll jump into that. So all right. Um, so this one says different attachment styles can sound like. So one attachment style is the anxious attachment style, and so one of the ways that it shows up, or the ways that it sounds, is somebody who has an anxious attachment style will say something: "I worry that you don't love me as much as I love you," or "I'm afraid to show how I am really feeling out of fear that you will leave me." Or "It seems like you're hiding something from me, but I have no reason to feel that way." Another thing is, "I need constant reassurance that you care about me because I am afraid you've changed your mind."
Yep.
Another, yeah, another is the avoidant attachment style. So the avoidant attachment style says things like, I don't feel comfortable talking about my emotions, or I can't trust you. I can only trust myself. I'd rather tell you I'm fine than to have to explain what's going on for me. Or you're getting too close. I need to pull away. Let's see. Another is disorganized attachment style. The disorganized attachment style would say something like, I'm not worthy of your love. Or sometimes I pull you closer, but then get the urge to push away. It's that push pull. I want to be cared for, but I have a strong fear that people close to me will hurt me. And then it says, I tend to have a negative view of myself and others. And then the last one, which is the one that we all want to work towards, is the secure attachment style. The secure attachment style says things like, I can trust myself and others. I know that if I am let down, I will be able to pick myself up. I'm confident in myself and in my relationships. I feel comfortable making decisions that are going to support me, even if my loved ones don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Very healthy. Very healthy. So, yeah. So let's get into attachment styles. So, yeah, I don't even know where to start. I think I will just start with, so talk to me about how we talked a little bit about how you got into it. What have you seen in terms of attachment styles, how they affect how they affect us?
Well, first of all, I got into it. I got into it because of pain, and just trying to find and study how to ease the pain that comes from childhood rejection and then adulthood rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And most all of it, especially coming, being an instrumentalist and early age, even in my 20s, being a leader,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it was just perceived, Winfred.
Mm.
It was perceived rejection,
Rejection.
but there was actual rejection in certain stages. But the attachment style that I learned from my parents would draw and attract rejection. And
Okay.
sometimes the rejection wasn't because that person just didn't want anything to do with me, but it was just because your personality can attract certain kinds of pain.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be healed as possible so we can go into our relationships without subconscious expectations.
Yes.
And really,
subconscious unhealthy expectations.
Subconscious unhealthy expectations, and some expectations that we have subconsciously are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them are based on various brokenness, the brokenness that we have, brokenness that we got. Because when we are young, it is easy to become broken. Absolutely. Especially when you have parents that may be narcissistic. Mm-hmm. You may have parents that might be a fearful avoidant or a disorganized avoidant, right. Or a parent that's a dismissive avoidant. Now a parent that's an anxious preoccupied, they can cause some problems too. But absolutely. Like, because I know that I am an anxious preoccupied, and throughout my entire life, learning about that in my 50s helped me understand why some of my past situations were the way they were.
Yeah.
But that's how I began to learn about it, was just through pain. Yeah, and so, my fiance, she's a dismissive avoidant. And dismissive avoidance and anxious preoccupied, they usually attract one another. Isn't that something? And then, and so
probably why we get along so well. I'm anxious preoccupied too. So
that's right. And so, and preoccupied, and then as we get older, we get some securities that are really strong as a preoccupied. But it's the kind of security that you're going to go ahead and take your risk. You don't give that love, because getting it back, like for instance, the other day, my fiance, she's going through a death in the family. Her brother died yesterday. Her
Oh,
big
I'm
brother,
sorry.
her oldest brother, died yesterday. And then leading up to his death, she detached and she became very dismissive and very avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
They call him a DA,
Mm-hmm.
dismissive avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm an anxious preoccupied, that means I have to work at not thinking about what her needs are during the
Yes.
day. I'm
Yes.
thinking, is she okay? Does she got gas in her car? Did she is she warm?
Yes.
It is the winter. Does she, do I need to? Does she have enough money? Is
Do
she
I need
taken
to
care of?
do I
And
need to do something to fix the situation? Yes.
sometimes a dismissive avoidant, all they need is for you to leave them the hell alone.
Yes. Exactly.
Man, sometimes all she needs, just leave me the
Yes.
hell
Yes.
alone. And that's what she and Winfred, check this out, man. Once I began to understand that she needed some time to herself to self-soothe. So when she would if she would get hurt, I wanted to run to her a care, like I would want somebody to run to mine. You
Exactly.
know, I try, are you okay? But I just learned how to, hey baby, I can tell you going through something and you ain't ready to talk yet. I'm gonna bag up off of you. I'm gonna give
When
you
I'm
some
ready.
time. I'm not gonna
Yes.
call you. When you
Yes.
ready to talk, I'm gonna be here for you.
Yes.
And man, when I started doing that, it
Yep.
gives it the time was shorter before she would come back and say, hey baby, this is what I'm going through. This is what's going on. And so, all through this season where her brother has been sick, most people looking at me from the outside would say, man, he's been really, you're not really taking care of her. You ain't caring for her like she needs. But knowing her as a dismissive avoidant, when she's going through something, she needs space. And then I love, 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 and then back up. And then
So
as time goes on, she's more and more open to receiving and giving love
mhm,
because she feels safer after I've shown consistency, because their childhood as a dismissive avoidant has to do with the fear of abandonment,
correct.
or all of their physical needs were met, or those emotional needs weren't met,
Hmm.
or all of their emotional needs were met, but their physical needs weren't met, or
Yep.
financial needs weren't met. So
Here,
those are one of the
here's an interesting part. So for those who don't know or you haven't taken the test, as the reason why that is so important for in this instance an anxious preoccupied to understand is because, and why I said five love languages, though it's great, is not always the first thing we need to go to. It's because as an anxious preoccupied, one of the things that we struggle with is our struggle is with being by ourselves. So, in a situation where you struggle being by yourself and you're with somebody who needs to a period of time to be by themselves, if you are functioning in a love language, then you might think, well, this is what I need. This is what I like. This is what, they like.
yeah,
They like, acts of service. So let me act that out when, because of their attachment style, they might actually just need, like you said, time to process, time
right,
to self, and then you have to be able to know within yourself that some of the time I am not functioning out of my desire to help. I'm functioning out of my dysfunction of being afraid of
wow,
being alone
wow,
and being single.
wow,
So where is this action coming from, and how do I, instead of trying to run to fix them, really take the time to sit down and deal with me?
yeah,
Because now my issue is not being there, and using your example, being there for her. It's I need to do something to soothe the fact that I am afraid of being by myself.
yeah, wow. That's something right there. And I want to take a little time to kind of give further definitions and
Yes,
just
go ahead.
really help people see. You got the dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant, which you describe as a disorganized, anxious preoccupied, and then the secure attachment style. The dismissive avoidant, they're a person, they will dismiss you or avoid you
Mm-hmm.
even though they love you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they attach. And now the fearful avoidant, they have that push pull, like you said, the push pull. You know, it's sometimes they hot, sometimes they cold, but for the most part, a fearful avoidant grew up in a household where there wasn't a lot of consistency in the parenting, as far as the affection, the love, and stuff like that is concerned. A dismissive avoidant, a person in their childhood, they were always seemed like they were running the risk of abandonment. Now, a preoccupied, anxious preoccupied, same thing,
Mm-hmm.
rejection, abandonment, these issues. And then the secure attachment style are people who had, as children, had a lot of reinforcement, a lot of encouragement, a lot of help. They probably had a healthy mother and a healthy father that interacted, marginally well, and they just got some very, very secure idiosyncrasies and secure uh, um, lifestyle
Mm-hmm. Some habits in there. Yeah.
ways, and
Yeah.
so just it's a beautiful people are in all four of those attachment styles. Like, if you really get to know a fearful avoidant, you know they're very passionate. They got high
Mm-hmm.
highs and low lows, though. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
also they can be extremely they also they feel like if you fight them back verbally, you must love me because you got passion in your anger.
Right.
So not all of it can be unhealthy except for the secure attachment style. And knowing yours and your partner's attachment style will help you avoid unnecessary drama and misunderstandings.
Mm-hmm.
In unmet emotional needs, unpredictable caregivers, that's usually what fearful avoidants have gone through. But they have the capacity to have very deep relationships.
Yes.
A disorganized attachment of very deep. They have a great possibility, if you will work with them and grow with them and have those conversations, those hard conversations, that they can go from craving chaotic encounters to just cherishing those healthy interactions.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta always they have to always be made aware, okay, you have an attachment style, and it's like this. So
Yep. Absolutely.
very
That's good.
interesting.
Absolutely. Shanae, she says that I haven't taken the test, but I definitely need alone time to process myself first. I just need to make sure I understand what I need before dragging anyone else into it. Absolutely. And I think
Absolutely.
that's the best way to do it is
Yeah.
to first realize, like, let me see what this is saying about me. And then taking the time to like watch yourself. Because when I first took it, I was like, I actually thought that I was something else.
Yeah.
So, and of course, so the goal, of course, is when you find out is, of course, you want to work towards being secure.
Right.
So of course, I thought I was secure. Like I'm secure. I'm good. I'm not worried about it. And I took the thing. I took it, and it said anxious, preoccupied. I was like, but my parents are good. My parents are wonderful. My parents are wonderful. But as I sat with what it was saying, like certain things would happen, and this would pop up, and I'm like, there it is, right there. Like I
Right.
didn't see it. I needed to notice what was going on. So I didn't notice what was going on because in my mind I was secure. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm not an insecure person, so
Hmm.
I'm fine. But no, that's not the case. Let's see what Jamie said. Jamie says, as a fearful avoidant or disorganized. First of all, let me say, I was gonna make her come on here tonight with us, but nevertheless, as a fearful avoidant or disorganized, we can also swing one way or the other depending on our partner, i.e., more avoidant with an anxious partner or more anxious with an avoidant partner. Absolutely.
Wow. That's some honesty right there. That's
Mm-hmm.
honest. But see, this is the thing. A lot of people are not honest when they take the test, because the questions for the test can expose things that you didn't really realize anyway. See, me being a anxious, preoccupied, that love can run people away, or run a dismissive away because of its intensity. And then but there's a difference. If I've spent time in prayer that morning,
Mm.
or spent time in the word that morning, or if I've done my stress therapy, I am so secure.
Yeah, that's
Just
good.
just just the absence of stress, and then the presence of my I've had my meditation, and I've
Mm.
centered myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
show up with a deep confidence.
Right.
And I notice my dismissive fiance, when I show up like that, she relaxes and becomes very, very joyful, as opposed to if the Charles Martin shows up that's stressed, pressure from pastoring, visiting people in the hospital, visiting people that's been in prison, and then dealing with those families that are hurting, and I'm working, and I'm on the phone, and I'm praying for people, and I'm then I'm my own family, my grown children, and being a father to them, and then my own church members, because a lot of times I tend to my church members, family members, because you know people that have gone to my church for many years, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. Next thing you know, they're handling some of the things that pastors would normally handle.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when I show up centered, Winfred, and when I show up having been with God, having meditated, having uh, reminded myself who I am as a man in a deep way,
Yeah.
some of the uh, ambiguities, and some of those shadows,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
and the ambiguities and the fears, they begin to fall away,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
when they resurrect, they resurrect weaker than they did before. So I think all of us, if you know what your attachment style is and you begin to work through them, you become stronger in your secure mindset in heart place.
So what would you? How would you? So okay. So Shanae just said that that she wants to sit with herself before she drags anybody else into this. What would you tell someone, a couple who was taking this, who took this? Like, how would you suggest that they
You have to communicate. If she wants to be by herself and get in self-soothe, is what most therapists call it. Hey, listen, baby, let me get a chance to think, because I don't want to make any assumptions. I don't want to blame you for something that's just not your fault. And I don't want you to come in on a conversation that I'm having with myself that I haven't finished yet.
That's good.
And they need to be mature enough to let herself soothe
Okay.
by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because that took a long time for me to do, man. It took me a long time, because my position was, hey, self-soothe, but let me be there in case you need me.
Let me help you. Yeah.
Right? Let me help you self-soothe.
Was that for her? Or was that for you?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you cannot afford to be unselfish. I mean, you cannot afford to be selfish, because this is a whole nother human being. Two histories have collided to make this
Absolutely.
relationship. And so, just as she said, she wants to finish that conversation with herself. She wants to go and have a conversation with herself before she have a conversation. That is so wise. And so many there's very few ladies that can walk in that zone of understanding
Mhm.
and then represent themselves, you know, with a firmer grip on what's going on in their insides.
Yeah. One of the things that I've in my experience, it has been and this is in this area and other areas, but it seems like you hinted around, you almost got to this earlier, is it seems like that we are we are given as partners the person who has the other end of the spectrum of the
Wow.
things that we need to mature in, that bring us to a secure place.
Yeah.
We're partnered with a person who's almost the complete opposite of that. And to me, I always say, like, to me, this is like God's way of helping us to mature
Yeah.
and to becoming, whole, complete, lacking nothing, as if we want to use Bible terminology, like James says.
Hmm.
So I wonder if we recognize that, because though that sounds really good, it's also, to your point, very ugly and hard and revealing to have to dig up things from your childhood, experiences from your childhood, to really even say, I show up sometimes really needy because this is just right now who I am, and I haven't
Right.
done my work, and I haven't, some things that happened in my childhood, and that other person who, think like you said, in your case, who wants to dismiss this or push you away, needs to have, the energy or the space to say, okay, right now, this is what you need. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
this tug of
Yeah.
trying to, of knowing when to be gracious, but at the same time how to work your own thing, and like it's like almost like we're working our stuff out by helping the other person work their stuff out,
Most definitely.
and that's hard. Like,
Yeah.
that's really hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Because we want them to show up like we're expecting them to show up,
Yeah.
and they're going to show up the way that they need to, like for instance, a dismissive avoidant, they need harmony, they need lightness, they need safety. See, me, I'm heavy. I mean, I'm almost always serious unless I say, whoa, slow down, Charles. You need to not take yourself so seriously. Don't take life so seriously. It takes me time to move out of that watching over people's souls zone. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so, but my fiance, she loves harmony, lightness, safety, consistency, predictability.
Mm-hmm.
I am not predictable.
Yeah.
My nature is spontaneity. I mean, I wake up early enough to decide then what I'm going to do. And then, I've paid the price of my time is my own to some degree, and so, but she likes that steady, consistent predictability, security, independence. They tend to be very independent. They tend to be too independent, a dismissive avoidant. Laughter, humor, banter,
Mm-hmm.
privacy, encouragement, acts of service, and gifts. Those are love language. So I had to learn this and accept it as, because it was, none of it was rejection. But if
Totally.
I'm thinking in my own attachment style, some of this I'm seeing as rejection, and it's not.
Yes. Yes.
That's just the
Because
way.
it
That's just
feels
the way
like
she
rejection.
flows.
Yeah, because it feels like rejection, because the thing that you think that you need is not the thing that the other person is doing. And so we have to
Right.
almost translate what they're doing to their language. And again,
Wow.
that's difficult
Yeah.
because we have a need. Like, in
Yeah.
that moment, you have a legitimate need
A legitimate need.
for intimacy, or for relationship. And
Yeah.
so when they do what feels like rejection, or someone does something that feels like rejection, our natural, if we're not careful, for all of us, no matter what your attachment style is to put up this wall of protection, to
Hmm.
say, I'm not going to be rejected. I'm not going to put myself in a place to be rejected. I'm not going to put myself in a place to be hurt
Yeah.
again. I'm not going to be put in a place to be this, to be wounded because I've taken enough. Like, we all do that,
Yeah.
instead of saying, wait a minute, like you said, no, this is not
Yeah.
rejection. This is her self-soothing. This is
Yeah.
him responding from their attachment style, from what they need. So let me grow up. And really, what it is, let me grow up
Right, right, right,
and and have my moment, but grow up and do what that person, really understand what that person's doing. Like I said, they're showing me that they love me the way that they
right.
know me in that moment.
And it's rich when you can take it for what it is and learn what you're seeing is rich, man.
Yeah.
One of the game changers for me, and one of the things that really said, okay, I'm gonna ask her to marry me, was I realized that dismissive avoidant subconsciously wants love, but they consciously are afraid of love. Whereas
Mhm.
at a preoccupied attachment style or an anxious preoccupied, consciously we want love.
Mhm.
Subconsciously we want space.
Mhm.
There's a subconscious fear that we have, and with when it comes to not being loved, or consciously we're afraid of not being loved. Subconsciously, man,
Mhm.
I hope I don't, because I know how strong I can love, and I'm gonna want my space if somebody don't love me back the same way, and so we got to be aware of, a DA. Subconsciously they really want love, they want to be open to it. Consciously they're like, oh man, you know see, this is what I learned too. And one of the things is say, okay, I need to ask her to marry me, because it was like a revelation, Winfred, is this. I learned that I wasn't going to be happy in a relationship that was predictable and boring.
Hmm.
Like, I am I may as a man, I want her to be safe. I want her to be provided for. I don't want her to worry about anything, but I still need excitement. And it was a huge revelation. And then when I got closer to the time of the engagement, I had a revelation, and I realized that she was that person that had those ingredients, that I need for a long period of time. Because I'm 50, I'll be 53 in 2 weeks. And so I know what I want,
Right.
and I know
Right.
what I don't want,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And so those subconscious things are really the things that drive our relationships. So we got to be healed of so many things.
Absolutely.
And God just begin, even now, He's working on, because we're getting married in September, but God is working on stuff inside of me. I'm like, man, am I going to be ready? But,
Yeah.
when you're a pastor,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
everything, you in the glass house,
All the time.
there's at
It's the
some point,
fishbowl. It's the fishbowl.
there you go. At
Yeah.
some point, people going to find out who you're dating,
Yep.
and it's going to spread.
Yes.
So you
Quickly.
better you better be on your A game as far as your public persona is concerned, so
Yeah. Yeah. Listen. Okay. I'll tell you about. Yeah. No, I'll tell you about that one later.
okay.
No. So today, no, I'll tell you. So today, I was. We'll talk about that later. Never mind.
Yeah, you
I
need to
talk.
call me on. You need
Yeah,
to
we'll
call
talk
me.
about that later. All right, we'll talk about that later. But anyway, nevertheless, yeah. Let's see comments. Shanae says that makes so much sense. I have to have time to separate emotion from reality. If not, I'll drag an unfinished thought process, and that can cause irritation with someone trying to help. Absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If he says, let me save this video and show my therapist. Tell your therapist she should come on next week and we can finish this we can finish the conversation. Jamie says that grace within the space is always called for. In some instances, it's me saying I need space, but let me pause and provide some intimacy and reassurance first, or vice versa. Let me yield to the need for space now.
That's
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. And I think
That's
it's,
love.
yeah, it is. And I think that the thing for me is trying to learn how to see the need for space before it's needed and just like backing off.
Hmm.
And again, as someone who is the same attachment style as you, it can be difficult
Hmm.
because the desire for intimacy is always there. And then, like you said, if we're not in the right space,
Yeah.
not only is it the desire for intimacy, it's the desire to perform to deserve intimacy. Because sometimes what it is you feel like if I perform well,
I
then
should get it.
I'm to get what I'm supposed to get. And that's just not the
Right.
reality of how this goes. Sometimes, again, to Jamie's point, a person just needs space. A person needs time to process. A person needs time to self-soothe. A person does not, that's not their what they crave. So you have to, as she said, provide grace. So it's something you have to learn, and something you have
Right.
to practice, and something you have to consistently work at, because again, these are not things that like you said, that they're subconscious things happening, and that don't necessarily always match what the person is consciously doing.
Right.
So if you don't understand the person even on a subconscious level, or if you don't communicate well to each other about what's happening on a subconscious level, then again, now you are, y'all are all over the place, because you don't know what you want.
Right. Right. And one thing about fearful avoidance is fearful avoidant people are disorganized tend to want that other person to be able to know what they need without them communicating it, because fearful avoidants are very good mind readers.
Mm-hmm.
They can watch micro expressions and be able to detect most times what that other person is feeling, and so they tend to automatically assume that that person can watch them with that same intensity and know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like you said earlier, there has to be communication regardless. A DA needs to tell a someone with my attachment style, a preoccupied, hey, I need some time to myself. This does not mean I don't love you. This does not mean I'm tired of you necessarily. This doesn't mean that I want out of the relationship. This just means I need some time to self-soothe. Me, one of the greatest things I had to learn, Winfred, is how to self-soothe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working at it. I hate being by myself on Mondays, man. After Sunday morning preaching,
Sunday afternoons are terrible.
Sunday afternoon is
God.
you kissing babies and praying for people and smiling and loving people, and then you get home and you
Crickets.
by yourself.
Crickets.
You can only watch so much football.
Woo.
You could only watch and then that is a vulnerable time for me. And so she had to learn that no matter how she felt, Sunday nights and Mondays, I need to hear from her.
Mm-hmm.
I need to hear, I love you. I need to hear, baby, it's going to be all right. Do you need me to pray for the pastor? You know what I'm saying? And that was a hard conversation, Winfred, because, I wanted her to be able to pick that up, but she's not a pastor. So there's no way for her to understand that I totally drained myself just with one sermon. They say that one sermon is equal to 8 hours hard labor.
Wow.
One sermon, 1 45-minute sermon is equal. It has the same impact on your body, your physical body and your emotions as 8 hours hard labor.
Yeah.
And so she had to learn that. And then she had to have some of the older women who had been married to pastors to help her understand this dude may not look like he exerted himself, but he emptied himself in front of 400 people. He just emptied himself. He just became transparent. And then the effect on your emotions. So she's still learning that I can self-soothe on a Thursday. I can self-soothe on a Friday. I could even self-soothe on a Saturday. But on a Sunday night or a Monday, I need my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for me to admit that as a leader ain't the easiest thing in the world either, because, but we need each other.
Because as a fearful avoidant, it is now the possibility of being rejected.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna tell
That's
you
right.
this, and you're not gonna do it, and I'm gonna feel rejected. So it's easier for me not to say it. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Them Sunday afternoons and Monday mornings, yeah, are
It's
rough.
crazy. It's crazy.
It's very
Yeah.
crazy, very crazy. So, who? What else, man? Oh, it's so much, so much, so much. Um, I'm trying to think what other questions I have. If you all, like I said, if you all have questions, please drop your questions in the comments. We are, yeah, we just talking here. So, um, yeah. Ashnae says you really can't excuse me, you really can't. A mature person can say, "Hey, babe, I'm processing something right now. Bear with me a little bit. I love you." Absolutely,
Wow. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
That's a good move.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that says something about you as a person when you can say that,
Hmm.
and about your relationship when that doesn't. I've seen relationships break up over stuff, end over that
Right.
over, like that. So
Right. It's a
definitely.
relationship saver
Hmm.
if a person really wants to understand that other person. You should. I think this is what I feel. You shouldn't get with somebody unless you understand them to a certain degree, and you shouldn't break up with anybody unless you understand them for a certain degree.
Hmm.
I think that I think that when you are dating someone, this must be a conversation.
Hmm.
And sometimes, Winfred, we're living in a society where people are playing chess.
Hmm.
If I see you have something that I want, then that person needs to be able to determine somehow my motives and make sure that just because I want something from you, that I need to fall under the spell of your ability to deceive me just so you can get what you want, as opposed to somebody meeting toe to toe, eye to eye, nose to nose, and say, "Hey, I want a quality relationship. Can I ask you some questions?
Hmm.
I want to be if we are a fit, if we are a match, I want to answer some questions. Here's some questions you can ask me. You know, I'm praying that our society doesn't become so self-centered that people get better and better at playing chess, as opposed to getting better and better at understanding other human beings.
Yeah. That's good.
Because it takes maturity for me to like you.
Hmm.
I don't have to be mature to love you.
That's true.
You can fall in love with someone for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
But to like someone, and to like someone over a long period of time, that takes some growing up to appreciate. To like you, I've got to appreciate you.
Right. Absolutely.
And to like you, it gives you space to really be yourself. And if I can be around you enough and observe you while you're still being yourself, and then still like you, then there's a compatibility there. A lot of people are more interested in companionship than they are compatibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so we as human beings, when we fall in love with the opposite sex, we're we're moving into, okay, what a person is and who a person is. If I'm The Bible says, deal with your wives according to knowledge. If I'm dealing with my aunties, my grandmothers, my mothers, my sisters, my nieces, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my fiance, if I deal with them according to knowledge, I'm gonna do some studying, and I'm gonna find out what a she is.
Hmm.
And then as I find out what a she is, I can learn that at home. But if I
Hmm.
want to find out who she is, The only way I'm gonna find that out is being
Yeah.
around her and observing her behaviors.
Yeah.
Some behavior is premeditated. Some behavior is subconscious driven. So I
Absolutely.
need to be able to discern, okay, what did I see tonight at that date? Did I see somebody with a bunch of premeditated behavior? Did I
Mm-hmm.
see somebody who was vulnerable? Did I
Mm-hmm.
see somebody to let their guard down? Did I really see her? Because if I really want a good relationship, I want to know what she is biologically. I want to know who she is individually.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. She needs to find out what I am. Do you know what a man is?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I applaud my fiance. She knows what a man is. And she
Mm-hmm.
had 15 years to know who I was, not just what I was.
Mm.
You know what I'm
That's good.
saying?
Yeah.
Because Winford, you are a man.
Mm-hmm.
I've known you. You a man.
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, but a woman, she may not know exactly what a man is biologically, mentally, emotionally. Man, we're
Mm-hmm.
fundamentally different than women.
Mm-hmm.
So when we find out when a woman is interested, okay, what is he? Who is he? Man, she's already won half the battle. And then when you mess around and find out his attachment style, his love language, man, you 75% there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think it's also so another thing I wanted to point out. First, I absolutely agree with everything you just said.
mhm,
Um, I think another thing we have to also think through is certain attachment styles have certain patterns of responding.
mhm,
So, for example, typically your anxious preoccupied person is going to respond in a more pessimistic way, or
mhm,
they're going to be more paranoid in their responses
most definitely.
because they're and will typically have more what we might consider like being very jealous or possessive.
Mhm,
Whereas your DA, your dismissive avoidant, is going to be the type of person who, when you see somebody who's a little probably more passive aggressive,
right.
or someone who responds, or you seem to see them responding more with narcissistic ways,
Mm,
that is their that is a dismissive avoidance way of communicating through their attachment style,
yeah.
because again, they, like you said, they really want relationships, but they're afraid of it. So
Yeah.
as a way to do it, their wall that I talked about earlier is to respond passive aggressively
Mm,
or more narcissistically. Whereas fearful avoidant, again, is going to also probably be more pessimistic, want to be more by themselves, like you talked about
mhm,
earlier. And here's one: they're also going to have harder times because they don't like rejection. They're going to have a harder time setting good boundaries.
yes. Yes. That has been for me as a anxious preoccupied. I one of the reasons why I lost my first wife. That was just one of the reasons. One of the reasons she didn't want to be married to a pastor. The other reason was I didn't have very good boundaries. I was young, and didn't understand the value of boundaries. And then to have boundaries, you've got to have a lot of security in who you are and what you are. And so in this relationship, I have some really good boundaries established. And then I play good defense
Uh,
because as a pastor, you got to be able to avoid problems with women before they ever happen. You got to play good defense because when you are in a church house or a building and you're there to heal, sometimes you'll have women who appreciate that healing, they receive that healing, but then they may want more.
They want a husband.
They looking for a husband, perhaps. And so, and maybe not even always a husband, sometimes just a man.
That's true.
And so you got to be able to discern that before it ever happens in order to protect God's name and to protect God's house and protect God's people. And so I begin to have these become very, very good with boundaries. Whereas when I was a young man, I was totally naive. I did not realize that somebody may have bad motives towards me, and not they didn't care about what I could lose if they related to me the wrong way, or I related to them the wrong way. And so, but man, the Lord helped me really, really develop some good boundaries, and play good defense and be able to discern a person who their number one goal is to destroy the purity of what I do. You know what I'm saying? That's a really transparent moment. But
Listen,
and then not everybody has that same kind of access, to the opposite sex as pastors do. So that's why pastors have to be really, really pure in their hearts. Absolutely. Because they have access, And so understanding my attachment style, it helped me become a better pastor. People were always safe around me, even in my early years, but now they're really safe around me because I don't have very many vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
The weaknesses are become strengths now. So the person I'm engaged to, I don't want no smoke, man.
I already know. Listen, I already know.
I don't want no smoke, Doc.
I don't want.
And nobody in my church wants.
I don't want to come. I don't want to come get you. I have to come get you.
Man, please. Hey, I'm gonna keep you on speed dial, Doc. Because she's a very, very observant, sensitive,
absolutely,
but gangster woman.
Absolutely.
She's from the streets. And people who grew up in the streets, them's the best church members, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because man, they can spot a fake 2 miles away. Yep. We ain't even talking about church. I'm sorry, man. We talking about attachment styles.
No, but that's actually a part of it. So no,
it really is. She's very, very wise. So I want to encourage all the women that are watching, ladies. The ball is in your court, and you have an advantage because you know how to communicate. You're hardwired, ladies. You know how to communicate, and you need to use that to your advantage and understand that you create an environment with your words. A woman has the capacity to allow the fragrance of her personality to fill a whole room just by being feminine, just by being a woman and being secure in your womanhood. And the more you show up authentically, it's like a perfume no one else has ever smelled. And men cannot ignore that kind of fragrance. And ladies, it's not about how many bumblebees you can attract. A lot of ladies think their strength is in the numbers that they attract. No. Your strength is in your authenticity, because you don't want just companionship. You want compatibility. So if you can just really come into contact with who you really are, not just what you are, but understanding who you are. That involves your attachment style. Mm-hmm. And you show up with that unique fragrance and that one butterfly. Because really, ladies, you don't want 6 men. You don't want a man to be with you. You want a man that wants to be with you. A lot of men will be with you, But to find that one butterfly that has the resources emotionally, mentally, to be compatible with you for the rest of your life, that's what you really want. I tell my church people all the time, you don't want somebody to be with you. You want somebody to want to be with you. I tell my men, you don't want a woman that makes you a ham sandwich and that makes love to you and uh that's your help me. You want a woman that wants to make you a ham sandwich. And you want a woman that wants to make love to you. And you want a woman that wants to be that help meet in your life. Same thing for women. So we want to move out of the strength in numbers. How many men can I attract? How many men can I attract so I can choose which one I want? No, you want to be so authentic, so set and settled in the what you are, understand, know what a woman is, and know who you are as a woman.
Mhm.
You'll change the world. You'll rock the world, and you will attract that person that God has designed for you. See, everybody has a design, but very few people understand their own style. My design is what I am as a man. My style is who I am as a man. Same thing as with you women, precious women. Your design is what you are. Your style is who you are. Your style is who you're predisposed to. Your style, your design is your hardware. Your design is your software. Your design is who you've been hardwired to be. Your design is who you're blooming into with your environment, with your grooming, with what you've observed, what you've learned. So be who you are, because what you are wasn't, you didn't have anything to do with choosing that. So
Couple of comments here. Jamie says it's a beautiful dance when done right, but when it's not, it's a lot of stepping on of toes. Communication keeps us in the right rhythm. Offense keeps us on the opposite side of the dance floor. Absolutely.
wow.
Absolutely. Shanae had a question. She said, my question is, can your attachment style change? Because I don't handle things the same way as I did 6 or 7 years ago. And 6 or 7 years before that, I handle things a lot different as well.
Most definitely it can change. And sometimes it's not working your way into a secure attachment style. Sometimes it's resting your way into a secure attachment style. Bishop, what do you mean by that? Well, sometimes we can work our way out of the answers if we'll just observe and learn. That comes with knowing who you are, attachment style is, and understand that attachment style as much as you can. Just knowing what you are attachment style wise, it helps. It's 50% of the journey. So yes, you can change, you can morph and transform and be that caterpillar coming out of the cocoon of an old attachment style into a new attachment style. But you got to be honest with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta expose your insecurities to light, into truth. Then
Yes.
you start growing.
I always say the best phrase that lets you know when you're in a healthy place in a relationship is, can you stand before one another naked and unashamed?
Naked and unashamed. And tell
Flaw.
that person, even if you got tears coming down your eyes, hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I was, that's a trigger for me. You triggered me, you know, and I shouldn't have responded. This response, the action you had didn't deserve the response I gave you. And if you can say, I'm sorry, can you help me with this? You've been ready to grow. The relationship's about to be rich.
Yeah.
It's about to be a rich relationship.
So here's a question for you. So how would you, after discovering your attachment style, what would you tell? How would you recommend a person, male or female, introduce this to their partner? Like, what would you say? what would you recommend them saying? Because especially if you come into a man, more men be like, I don't want to take no test. I don't want to do none of this. Like, what are some of the things, or what would you say or want to hear as a man to make you like, okay, let's dive into this. This is something that I'm willing to dive into.
Well, I think we got to understand that men are rational and logical. Men are detailed. They're not detailed, but men make decisions based on information. And so what I would do is find a segment, even like the conversation that me and you are having right now. And hey, baby, can I have 5 minutes of your time? I'm really wanting to be a better wife to you, or a better girlfriend to you. I want us to have a better relationship. Can I have 4 minutes? Would you listen to this? Tell me what you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then really listen to what he thinks about it. And have some men respond to curiosity. Women are naturally hardwired to be curious. And men respond to it. And if a man can feel that, oh, she's interested in what I got to say, there ain't no man in the barbershop that if somebody asked that man in that barbershop a question, that he ain't gonna have an answer. All men think they are a genius. All of us think hey, Winfred, when we go to the barbershop and we talking around, we all having, watching the game, we all got the answers to the world's problems.
Absolutely.
Man, let me tell you what I would do if I was President Biden. We got something to say. So anytime a woman is truly curious about what we think, we're going to tell you what we think. We may not be able to tell you how we feel all the time. Mm-hmm. We got to start out with what we think. But if you if you want to know how a man feels, find out what he thinks first. If you want to find out how a woman thinks, you got to find out how she feels first. I can understand a woman better if I understand what she's feeling. I can understand a man better if I ask him what he's thinking. So we unlock a man's heart by talking to his head. We unlock a woman's head by talking to her heart. Men tend not to be curious about women's feelings. We want to know what she's thinking. What was you thinking when you drove the car through the, whatever? What was you thinking?
Yeah.
And then we want to know, what were you feeling? Women want to know, what were you feeling when you said that to me? Did you really mean what you said to me? So women are trying to understand a man's heart by talking to his heart. But you can't understand a man's heart by talking to his heart. You got to talk to his head. If you want to know how a man feels, you got to find out how he's thinking. If you understand what a woman is thinking, you got to talk to her heart. That's a woman, good. Oftentimes, if you ask a woman, hey, what you thinking? She's going to tell you how she feels. If you ask a man how he feels, he's going to tell you what he's thinking. We say stuff that we don't feel all the time because men live in an environment as men in environments where how we feel don't matter. You better know how you're thinking.
Absolutely.
Women tend to live in environments where how they're, hey, a woman, how she feels is important no matter what. She's going to tell you how she feels about a situation. So I would introduce that to a man with someone else bringing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then let him expound on what he thinks about it. And then there's a conversation.
Now, would you, if he was resistant to, because I can, for example, I know one of the things that you and I both deal with is a lot of men don't want to hear what their woman is bringing that their pastor is saying.
Oh, so, God. Especially not, yeah.
Like, I don't care what your pastor say. So I think, how do you, like, I think one of the things I want to bring is if he's resistant, like, don't try to force it is where I'm going. I don't think we should force it. I think what you said is important, which is to give him an opportunity, like make this a conversation where you're really trying to find out either what he thought about what is, what's been said, or or what what do you think about what they're saying, or how does this, like, does this translate to us in any way? Do I do, like, do we do this in our relationship? And I, like, what I mean, make it to where, like you said, like you want to hear his opinion in a non-judgmental, I'm not trying to change you way.
Right.
Because if you approach him with, like, see, this is what the bishop said,
Right.
this
And
is
then he's you know, lost him. What I would do is I would bring something a woman has said and then ask my husband, what do you think about this? And really let him talk. Or I would write something down from you ladies and say, what do you think about this? And let him talk, and just let him talk, and let him talk, and let him talk, and then hit him with a question and let him talk. Men, if you open them up, but you open a man up by talking to his logic, men are logical. We are empowered when we understand something. So I teach the ladies in our church, when you go to your husband, talk to his dome. Listen, baby, things will be better in the bedroom if
we fix this.
I understood this about you.
Yes.
You just made sense to him. Men are reward oriented. Men are award oriented. A reward you give to somebody that finds something. An award is you give to somebody that's had behavior that was good. So men are award oriented. They are reward oriented. Give him a reward for this conversation. If you tell a man, hey, I love that cologne, man. Every time you wear that cologne, it just opens something up in me. He gonna wear that cologne twice a day. He's gonna right. Especially if he's the kind of man that appreciates you, and appreciates your compliments. So, but yeah, that's what I would do. If I was wanting to present something to a man, I'd make sure it's totally on a logical, rational plane, because that's where we live as men. If you try to talk to his heart, baby, I really feel like this, that you don't, and baby, it just doesn't feel right when you say this, and you're gonna lose him, because he may care, but we're not hardwired to respond to emotion as we are to respond to information.
I agree. All right, y'all. So again, y'all drop your questions. I'm going through these comments. Drop your questions that you have. This is really good. Emily says all the secrets are in here right now. Yeah. I liked earlier, Shanae said, that's good. I asked him what he thinks my friend's boyfriend is thinking. That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it. Yeah. This has been good. So y'all be on the spectrum.
That's funny. That's funny.
We can be. We can be. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Any questions for Bishop? You guys put them definitely in the comments. This has been really good. And for those, again, if you have not taken the test, I encourage you
to
take the test. Literally Google attachment style quiz. They're free, and you can get your results in a matter of a few minutes. You can,
if you running game and you just playing, don't take the test.
Yeah.
But if you really want a quality relationship and you want compatibility and companionship, take the test.
Yeah.
It'll transform you.
It will absolutely transform you. Like you said earlier, it'll give you a greater understanding. And it is, man, I used to always say, like, I felt like I just wasn't prepared. Like at 23, I wasn't prepared for for any of this. I didn't understand. It was just, again, I do the right thing and you good. As long as I got money, the sex is good, we got nice cars, and we love Jesus, we good. And you know what I mean? Like, and all of those are fine, but
Right.
there's so much more, like you said, dealing with each other according to wisdom and
Yeah.
according to knowledge and understanding is so necessary.
Yeah.
So necessary. So, yeah. I should say, Shanae says, I was just getting ready to say, it seems you need to be mindful of who you share your attachment style with after you discern their intentions with your heart. Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really a lot of it is really, especially at the beginning of a relationship, is knowing, so you know potentially why you are attracting who you are attracting and why you are responding to certain things the way you are responding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's really like, okay, I hope I don't get killed for telling this story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. When Jamie and I first started dating, I used to, like, it used to drive me crazy, like, kind of that, like, she didn't call as much as I wanted her to.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why does she call me? Like, I don't understand this. She does not call. I need her to call. She's not calling. Why doesn't she call? Like, this was like really bothering me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I finally had to be like, this is a part of my fear of rejection. Like, I'm afraid that I am about to. And so once I understood that this is what was going on in me, it was like, okay, I can relax. I can relax. Now, I still address the fact that I didn't like that she didn't call me, but it was still, the understanding of me realizing why it was bothering me.
Right. And let me explain to everybody, that's not a weak man.
No.
That's a man that understands that he's about to make an investment. And this investment is vast. Mm-hmm. It is epic. So we're looking for little things that add up to, okay, this person is worth this investment I'm about to make in him. This is not a man that's, because I was the same way, man. You know, I told her a couple months ago, listen, baby, I said, don't go 4 hours and me not hear from you. That there's no explaining. You can't explain that. You can't say, baby, my phone died. You can't say, no, don't go 4 hours ever again. And you don't text me or you don't call me. That's just, and so whether she's dismissive, avoidant or not, she knows that that's too long for me. And it's going to put her in a zone. I'm going to put her in a category. That's not no, I'm not marrying you. Because if you can go 5 hours and you ain't text me when you can. Now it's different if you at work, you know, they take your phone or, you know, are you dead or, you know, something like that. But no. And see, well, why don't you call her? No, because listen, she knows that I could call her a lot.
Yeah.
But because of what has transpired in the past, if I call her and you sound like you too busy, I learned my lesson. When you're not busy, you call me. When you're not busy, you text me. At least text me, you know, or send a smoke signal, whatever. But in our relationship, based on what I know about you, you better call me in 5 hours. It better not be no 6 hours and you can say nothing. No, give me my ring back. I'm about to make an investment. I'm about to be totally vulnerable financially to you. Yeah. I'm about to be vulnerable. My life, I've already gone through I've already gone through a divorce. I've already gone through something similar. I need you to respond to me. You know, I bet you got some questions now. I bet you got some comments.
No. Listen, we've had this conversation, so I already know. Like,
we've
had these conversations, so we're good. A couple of comments here. So yes, Jamie says someone that I love. Excellent insight with attachment styles is Thais Gibson. She's absolutely out.
Thais Gibson is the girl.
Thais Gibson is awesome.
She's the girl. She's, matter of fact, I'm gonna jump out there and say this. She's the best person if you want the most in-depth therapist terms on attachment styles.
Yeah. She just talks fast sometimes. But yeah.
She talks really fast.
Like, let me slow that. Oh, go back, read it again. Okay. Yeah. You and a lot of her videos are on YouTube and stuff. So absolutely. Jamie talking about some thank God for growth. Yes, Lord, thank God for growth. Shanae says, oh gosh, I be bewildered. I might spend 4 to 5 hours picking my nails and thinking about why ants are so strong.
That's funny.
I understand. Yeah, she's talking about that's me half the time. I don't know on my phone and no comment. Somebody could be Jamie. I could be either. I could spend all day with myself. I love alone time. Yeah, I can do that sometimes, but I'm like you. You better pick up that phone.
Right.
Say hi.
Let me know you okay.
Let me say hi. I ain't trying to.
Exactly. We don't got to talk. We don't got to talk longer than 2 minutes. Let me know you okay. You good? I'm good. Bye. You know.
Yeah. I've had to listen. So I've had to learn to even because in my in my mind, I'm like, you good? And in my mind, I'm thinking, we good? I just have to. I have to go.
And as a man, we're protectors.
Absolutely,
we're protectors. I can't protect you if I know 3 hours has went by. All right, did your car break down? Did your phone die? I told my fiance this. I say, if I don't hear from you, and your phone is and I can't get in contact with you, at least I know you go the same way home every day. So I was like, okay, she must have had a flat. I'm gonna go check it. I'm gonna go find out what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that means after 4 hours or 3 hours. But if I'm a true man, I'm not going to have to wonder where she is after 5 hours because anything could have happened by then. We live in a crazy world.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And if you don't want me to protect you, if you don't want me to watch out for you, I'm not trying to be controlling, but then maybe we're not supposed to be together because you need all day long to, that's for me. I need to know. I don't need to know where you are all the time, but when the sun goes down, I need to know that the woman that I love is safe.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I feel that. All right, I think we've done.
We've exhausted it a little bit.
We've done enough damage for tonight. I as always, I appreciate you. And yeah, we can do this for hours.
Man.
We and listen and be going across subjects, and so
I know we're moving anyway.
We do this. So again, tell everybody about your book. Tell everybody about
you can order Relationship Technology on Amazon. I believe it's Dr. Charles Martin or Pastor Charles Martin on Amazon, Relationship Technology, or you can order any of my books. I got a book called Walls, Halls, Doors, and Rooms, discerning what season of your life you're in. That's a really good book. I got a book called Amazing Love. It's about the Holy Spirit. I got a book called Relationship Technology, Postures of Praise, Windows of Worship. And I got a book on the word no. It's a book about a people pleaser that got his life back. And so if you want to learn about how to tell people no, when to tell people no, you need to get that book. And you can order those books on www.championschurch.faith. And you can order any of those books, www.championschurch.faith. And they will really be a blessing to you.
And for those who are in Oklahoma City, they can come and see.
Oh yeah, you can come to Champions Church, 4501 North Meridian, multicultural church. It's a vibe. You would love it. And man, it's you would really be blessed.
Absolutely. Sir, as always, it is a privilege and an honor.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I definitely appreciate you again, not just for tonight, but for everything. So
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man. Can't wait for you to come back to the city.
I'll be back soon. I
All
will
right,
be
good.
back soon, and we will definitely have to sneak somewhere
Yes,
and
sir. We're gonna get us some Mexican food again, man.
right. Absolutely. We ain't gonna tell
Yes.
nobody where, but yes,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
But I so appreciate you. And so, y'all, listen, this has been a really good show. If you have not hit the share button, y'all hit the share button, tag somebody who you know needs to hear this information. Again, like he said earlier, like Bishop said earlier, come back to this conversation with your significant other, and and have the conversation. We hope this jumps off some conversation, because we want to have healthy relationships. We want to have
Yes.
deep relationships. We want to have relationships where both people in the relationship are fulfilled. And so attachment style theory is definitely something that you can talk through, that you can work through, that you can have discussions about, that will make your relationship better if you both approach it with an open heart, and approach it in a way that you want not only for yourself to be better, but to learn and to be inquisitive about who and how
Right.
your partner is. So, of course, we want to one more time send our prayers to Q. I hope you feel
Get
better.
better, Q.
Yeah, that you and this Rona be gonna, so we can get you back and we can continue our conversations. Y'all know every Tuesday we are here, and I didn't do this earlier, but if you are not following us on our social media, please do that. You can follow us on YouTube at The Scoop Show, on Facebook at Real Scoop Show, and on Instagram at The Scoop Radio Show. So you want to make sure you're doing that so that you don't miss anything that we have going on. Now, even though Q is has the Rona right now, she is still Elegance by Design is still the place that you can go to get your all natural hair and skincare products. And she got this is still her anniversary. So go to Elegance by Design with a Z.com, and get your products today, your hair care products, your skincare products, and support 7 years. Do y'all know that the average small business does not make it beyond 5 years? And she as is in year 7. So we want to support her. We want to celebrate her by buying up everything we can buy for Elegance by Design. So make sure you go and support her at elegancebydesign.com. Let's see what else. What else I got? If you haven't bought my book, Surviving Relationship Storms, please go and purchase that. Bishop wrote you wrote I forgot what they didn't call it that quick.
Forward.
Thank you, the forward for the book. And so,
Awesome.
so
Awesome
yeah,
manuscript, man.
talks about, yeah, it's man, the responses I'm getting are tremendous. So I'm so grateful. It's those who are in the comments who responded, thank you all very much. But yeah, if you haven't gotten the book, go and get it today.
Get
Surviving
that
Relationship
book.
Storms. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I think we're gonna do Clubhouse on Thursday this week. Wednesdays don't seem to be working, so if you're not following us to Scoop on Clubhouse, make sure you join us Thursday. I'll post the time. I haven't decided yet, but Wednesdays was not working, so I think we're going to go to Thursday nights, so that way more people could join us on that platform. So, other than that, I don't have anything else. You got any final words for us, sir?
Oh man, God bless y'all. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves.
Shanae says she loves your lilies, your peace lilies in the back.
Oh, they're my favorite flowers.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night, Bishop. Again, thank you for being here. I appreciate
Bless
you.
you, sir.
All the best to you. I love you, and we will definitely talk soon.
Bless you, man. Love you. You be blessed also.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All right.
So I try to keep it low when you knock me to the floor, cause I don't Believe this love is forever, girl.